walks into my classroom is going to have different cognitive levels, different learning styles, different personalities, strengths, weaknesses, whatever you can name it, they're going to be different. So it is my belief that no matter what those differences is, that I'm going to make sure that each child feels loved and safe in my classroom, but knows that I am going to expect them to be ready to learn every single day. So that brings up the question, how do you make a student feel loved? They're just in your classroom 7 hours a day. How do you get them to feel loved? Well, to explain that, I need to do a little bit of background on Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Bloom's taxonomy. So, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, seen here, is a hierarchy of needs that every person needs in order to be able to learn or go further than their basic needs. Now, Bloom's is how we scaffold information in order to get critical thinking and full learning happen. So again, how do us as teachers get students to feel loved and complete Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So the school takes care of the food, and if there are issues with shelter, then they will intervene. But as teachers, we can't promise love to the students from their parents, but we can show them love. How do we do that? We make connections with them, ask them about their day. We know what their interest is, what makes them tick throughout the day. I suggest using a sheet such as this, a get to know me sheet, at the start of the school year, and keep those on hand. And when you see maybe a student is down or not themselves, go back to that sheet so you can have a conversation with them that's natural. Ask them, how's the school play going? Or did you guys win last night at football? It's just a simple way to let your students know, like, hey, she remembered that, she cares. And of course you care, but you may have 100 students and aren't gonna memorize every single thing each student does. So having these little sheets will give you a cheat sheet, so to say, on what their interests are and what's going to be a great topic to start a conversation with. So once you have a student's trust and they feel safe in your classroom environment, they can begin to learn. And that's where we go into our second topic, which is different learning styles and differentiated instruction if needed. For these, I suggest videos for our visual learners. We have reading text out loud to your classroom for our auditory learners, and then for our kinesthetic learners, doing hands-on activities. I want to be a biology teacher, so doing hands-on laboratories where they can get into the science of life. As for differentiated instruction, I would suggest letting students have choices. Choices make kids feel like they're in control of their own learning. So instead of a final paper at the end of the semester that sums up all of their learning, maybe make them have some choices on what they want to do. Let them be creative, express what they're learning in different ways. Keep the paper as an option for our writers, but we have musicians, we have artists. A poster project can show learning just as much as a paper can, or having a student write a song or a rap. Just different ways to get every student ticking and get their brains thinking on how to show their learning differently. Once we have made the student feel safe and loved, and we are catering to their different learning styles, then we're gonna automatically see what are their motivation. In order to keep motivations high, I plan on using creative lesson planning, engineering some that get the kids up and moving and less sitting and being lectured at. An example I thought of is when we're analyzing parts of a leaf, instead of looking at a picture and doing a diagram, why don't we go outside and go have the students pick a leaf of their own, and then we can create our own diagram using their leaf. This is going to attribute a memory to a subject. Another thing that correlates to motivation is avoiding learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is when a student gives up and up and up on a topic, and the teacher is allowing them to do that. A great example is if a student can't pronounce a scientific word, such as photosynthesis, the student won't pronounce it every single time, and the teacher will. That student is not learning. Let the child try it. Let them use some critical thinking, sound it out. That goes for most things in the classroom. Our job as teachers is to guide them, not give them the answers. They need to do that by themselves to get the most out of their learning and have great new discoveries. In the classroom, we're going to have a mutual respect because we have other students who are ready to learn, who do want to spend the time to get better at a subject. With all that I have said in today's video, I don't want my classroom structure to be confused with chaos. My classroom is going to have structure and rules and consequences. It will be a place for growth mindsets and positive behavior. Thank you once again. My name is Preslee Stahl from Siena Heights University.